Hey, this is Kimmy from Kentucky.
Kimmy from Kentucky, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so I've been kind of wanting to call in a few times, and I called in earlier about J.D. Vance, but something keeps coming up about a subject, and someone actually called in last week about it, and I want to thank Matt, I think, for speaking up a little bit about it. But it's addressing the issue of kind of, I don't want to say writing off, but devaluing people who don't have college degrees, especially being from Appalachia. I'm from a town of like less than 2,000, or a county less than 2,000 people. And I moved off, and I got to see the big city, but not everybody gets to do that, And there were things in my life that did not lead to a college degree, but I worked my butt off, and now I get to work in policy, actually, in advocacy, and I help farmers, and I've taken farmers to D.C. and to the Capitol, to our state house. I love Andy Bashir. And that just brings me to just the whole misconception of Kentucky and writing us off for I don't want to say for so long,
right,
but we're very much overlooked. And I feel like this is just from my perspective of being on the ground and growing up here, is the solution to get them to vote Democrat is so clear. And it just feels like is everyone just overlooking it, or? And it's simply,
no. I mean, sorry to jump in, but this is what I was trying to get into with the Teamsters thing, which is the Teamsters have a large amount of people who aren't college educated, and that is a type of a voter that the Democrats have consciously, and they wrote this in the 80s, turned their back on. They did. That was a plan. Yeah. That's why it's tough. That's why, like, one nice pro-labor presidency by Biden, even if we ignore the disagreements over the rail strike, is not fucking enough sometimes. Like, and I think it's really a big problem that progressives, in fact, a lot of people that listen to this show are saying it must be just simply bigotry. Like, I'm not here to flatter this false consciousness to think Trump can be pro-labor. I think it's fucking stupid. But I also know that problem isn't a result of labor. That's a problem of one of the major parties in America deciding we don't need those fucking people. We want college educated people from the suburbs.
Yeah, and I think just really quickly to add to Matt's point, unfortunately, the Kamala Harris campaign has not represented in any way a departure from that posture. I would argue that she's run in a direction that's fortified it, because that's kind of the class that the Democratic Party serves, the more, again, managerial, college educated, versus just the kind of rank capitalism that the Republicans represent. It's still, that's why the Democrats are insufficient in this way, and it's going to take many years to disentangle.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is also people, like, with writing these people off and thinking they don't understand or they're stupid. And my mom always said there's a difference between stupid and ignorant, and it's true. And people, I mean, Kentucky has, since 1930, has only had 4 Republican governors, and none of them were ever reelected for another term, including Matt Bevin. We have a county, Elliott County, who has voted Democrat for the last 144 years. I mean, we started the coal miner labor movement. I mean, we've provided, we're like one of the top beef and poultry producers on this side of the Mississippi. Like, we matter, and I think that's why that's not what they're understanding, is all the stuff that happened with the New Deal and the TVA and the Farm Bill, which is super important. All of that stuff started fading off, and you can't see those impacts anymore in our younger generations. So they're looking for something, and that's like the whole coal mining thing. People. That also makes me angry, because people want to talk for these coal miners and say that they want coal to come back, and that's like asking if you want to go back and live with your abuser. Why would you want to go back into a coal mine to die for somebody else? Why would you want your family member to get black lung? Why would you want to basically live in poverty still, even though it's a good job? You're still in in the hills of Appalachia, and you have no other resources around you besides going into the mines. So people there want a different option.
Well,
like, we'd
exactly.
like a different option, please.
Well, and that's the thing is like, it's been a frustrating month of the Kamala Harris campaign in that regard. I had a lot of hope because I thought the Tim Walz pick was pretty inspired, and I thought that would be more of an orientation. But
Walz is a direction that would address some of this. I think.
So there's some positives, but I would say that the way that the campaign has been oriented, the persistent focus on middle class, is designed to run up the numbers with a specific demographic, to Matt's point. And I wish that there was more thoughtfulness about the long-term implications of that, even if the Democrats are more pro-worker in what they support than the Republicans. There's no question. The way the campaign is running, to your point, there's a messaging issue. And it feels condescending and wrong, and like they're leaving behind huge swaths of the country for an extremely safe electoral approach.
Yeah, for sure. And just another little example of like how the difference between ignorant, stupid, and understanding the issues even here is like the farmer down in eastern Kentucky. Not only did the floods absolutely take out everything that they ever owned, but took out more than 100 years of topsoil. So, I mean, do you think he doesn't understand not only the implications of climate change, but natural disasters and our response as government to that? And then the women, the girls that I graduated high school with, they wouldn't go off to college because they had to stay home and be a primary caretaker for someone. Mm-hmm. And you can't tell me that those people know more about Medicaid and Medicare and helping people get signed up and the ins and outs of those things than anybody I ever met at an office who has a college degree. They don't want to sit down with somebody in poverty or homeless or houseless. They're just looked down upon, and
it's a problem in the cities.
Understands the issue
too. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. So no, it's okay. I've just been really frustrated about it because I feel like, and I don't want to give the illusion that I have this huge hope that Kentucky can turn blue tomorrow. I don't believe that because the Republican takeover took years and years. Like I said, we were Democrat, but there's theories that I have of what happened here, but a lot of it has to do with religion and implications of putting in layman ministers instead of having educated ministers and priests, but things like that. And I just feel like we're being written off when there are clear, open possibilities. And I mean, we have Andy Beshear as our governor, and everybody's like, that's so weird. And it's like, no, not really. Like, he listens to us. He's given us jobs. He talks to us like we're human beings. And we see our results at home. That's literally all we want. And it's so crazy that all these people on CNN and they're like, it's so weird that they vote Andy Beshear in.
And his popularity is like record high, not record high, but definitely one of the highest in the country for a governor.
Yes.
in a red state with a legislature that tries to sabotage him at every turn. Gonna let you go in a second, Kimmy, but I really appreciate your call. And I'll also say, just to add to what you're saying, this is why just saying like I love fracking now and like running away from the good elements of the jobs part of the Green New Deal is not a good idea because that could be making she could be making that case, but it doesn't mean it won't happen if she's president. But the campaign strategy, I think, makes total sense. Why you're like, this is not speaking to me or people I know.
Yes, yes, for sure. But.
Appreciate the call.
Thank you all for taking my call. Yeah, left is best, and I love leftist mafia. And Emma, I share your absolute hatred for Taylor Swift.
Kimmy, you might be my favorite caller of all time. Thanks so much.
Every time you say it, I'm like, yes, go harder, but
don't tell her that.
Don't tell me. It's gonna ruin my career. The Swifties don't play. All right.
I know.
Have a good
Thanks,
one.
y'all.
Need
Thanks.
diplomacy.
Bye.
Bye.
I mean, we gotta be lucky that I'm assuming our audience skews like 25 plus, because otherwise we'd be receiving hundreds of hate emails per day over your stance on Taylor Swift.
They're gonna hack our.
I feel like
I know.
I feel like a lot of Taylor Swift fans are 25 plus. I feel like her
Yes,
fans
actually.
That's true too. Yeah, I'm just
She's been
about I'm
around for
thinking
a
like the
long time.
hardcore ones that would like
Right.
jump in front of a bullet for her.
No, it's just, it's there are a lot of oh God, all right.
We don't have to discuss
We
it.
don't have to discuss it. I'm about to say something mean about
I don't know
adult
anything
Swifties.
about Taylor Swift. I don't know anything about her. I don't know a single Taylor Swift song except for
She
whatever
grew up
they're
on
playing.
a
Like,
Christmas tree farm.
I know that
what I
part.
know
I know
about
she has like her like lifetime ass movie background, but like the only Taylor Swift times I've heard her songs are when like I'm in an Old Navy and they're like just pumping it through like the speakers.
Yeah. She's a billionaire. I don't need to read about her like I'm reading the New York Times Siena poll. I don't need to read what's Taylor Swift's effect on the election. Oh, not at all. Oh, well, good. We spent like an entire media cycle on this. Amazing.
A bunch of people got clicks.
I gotta move on.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.